They won't rerun the interview that you're going to do in studio.
The in-studio
Oh.
live, and then we use this on the 11th.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Covering two bases here.
I see. A little confusing there.
Sorry.
No, that's all right.
Good to go? What has made Psycho stand the test of time, in your opinion?
I believe that Psycho has been able to last so long because at the time when we made Psycho, there were censors. And you couldn't show nudity, and you couldn't show any kind of savage scenes in terms of weapons penetrating or anything like that. And so the audience had to, once the movie maker, Mr. Hitchcock, got the audience to this pitch, and he did it so brilliantly because everything was so tight. There was not one extraneous frame of film in any of his pictures. And that's how he kept the suspense going. That's how it was always tight and quick. And he would get the audience to this pitch, this fever pitch, where the minute it stopped, where with what we could show, they then took the leap and went to what they thought they saw. And to me, something that they've created is going to last a lot longer than something that you just see. Once you've seen it and it can't get any bigger, or that's it. But if you imagine it, it can get as big as this room,
Sure.
or the world.
It's paved the way, and in the films today are so in your face, and this one, like you said, it's up here in the mind. And
It's cerebral.
Yeah.
It really, you have to use your own imagination. And I think it's much more exciting than having, it's almost, sometimes today I think that not meaning to, but maybe movie makers, it's almost insulting because they feel the audience can't, think up anything. Everything has to be laid out, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They can't imagine that people could think and let them blossom forth. They have to show you everything. And sometimes I think our imagination is going to atrophy if we aren't allowed to let some of it be expressed.
It's good proof that less is more in this case.
Exactly, exactly.
And that fever pitch you talk about, that was generated by Hitchcock at the beginning with the ad campaigns, "No one will be admitted after the film starts," and from the word go.
From the get-go, I tell you that this man was not only was he a brilliant movie maker, obviously, but a great showman, because it was his idea that no one could come in once the movie had started, because he was sitting around with his assistant one day, and they were talking, and he said, "You know what, this is Janet Leigh film, and what if somebody comes in the middle of the picture and expecting to see Janet Leigh, and of course we've already done her in, and they're not going to see, and they're going to keep saying, well, where is, And so he said, I know. No one can come in once the picture has started. This was the first time this had happened, except for road shows, those 2 performances a day. But normally it would just be a continuous running, and it caused such a hullabaloo, and theater owners were dying because at the first show in the morning, 9 o'clock, they called Barney Balaban, who was head of Paramount, and they said, hey, what do you mean I can't let anybody in? The theater's 3/4 full, and there's a line out there. I can get the people want to come in. And he said, and they said, I don't care what you do, I'm going to let them in. And Barney Balaban said, oh no, you're not, because you have to read the fine print in your contract. He had it put in the contract that they could not let anyone in once the movie had started. Of course, once people realized that, it caused traffic jams all over the world, because they were lined up so that they'd get the next showing. It was incredible.
Wow. What was the atmosphere like during production on the set? Did you guys have any idea it would become what it's become? Did you think, oh, this is a nice film, but what it's become, was that ever in your mind?
No one can really foresee an audience's reaction. We all thought we were doing something worthwhile and different, And of course, with Mr. Hitchcock, it was just such a joy to see his modus operandi. And the set itself was extremely relaxed, even despite the subject matter, because he was so well prepared. Everything had been documented in his mind or on his little storyboards, or for the shower scene, Saul Bass drew the angles that we would shoot. So he was very relaxed on the set. It was all the night before he would give the crew the shots for the next day. So there was never any guesswork, and there was never any histrionics. You know, I mean, it was just, and he's so charming and a great storyteller, and it was just a joy to be around him, and the set was very relaxed.
Mm-hmm. What, to this day, does this film still scare you?
Yes, it does. I think one of the reasons is because in my mind, the imagination, you know, has I've already been to that place, and it's frightening, and also what Hitchcock is famous for is taking ordinary people or ordinary things and surrounding that ordinary person or place or thing with extraordinary things, and so that something. Who would think a shower? I never thought about a shower being anything but a shower. You went in and you took a shower. It was as natural as combing your hair. Until I saw this, and then all of a sudden a shower became something I did not want to be put in the position of being that vulnerable. And that was his genius, you know.
You stepped into your safe space. Now the showers.
Now, you know, you're not even safe in the shower. But because I never had thought about it, I never I didn't sit down and say, well, now, you know, shower could be very vulnerable, but I did then. I thought, of course. I can't hear because the water's running. You can't see because either a door or a curtain or something, and you're certainly defenseless because you're naked. I don't want to go there. I just don't want to go there, and it affected me.
What was your reaction to the fact a couple years back they remade Psycho in color, shot for shot, dialogue is there, original dialogue? What was your reaction when they came out with that?
I didn't see the picture, so I don't know the result. My first instinct was, why? I just have to answer that because I have seen remakes before of movies, and everybody put their own mark on them, or they, brought it into today's pace. Like one of Hitchcock's, Dial M for Murder was the perfect murder, I think, and it was wonderful. It was the same story in essence, but it had a different take. And I saw, what was the one I just saw that I thought? The Thomas Crown Affair. I saw the original with Steve, and I just saw the one with Pierce Brosnan and Brosnan. Isn't that right?
Pierce Brosnan.
Brosnan. Okay. Well, I may not be able to pronounce his name, but I can sure look. He's wonderful. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. And it was tailored for him, and it was a good story. I mean, I can understand. So the only thing I can say is I just don't quite understand the why.
It needs to have something to say beyond the scope of the original, but in this case it was a duplicate. We need to get going down to the studio, but that was great.
Okay.
Great. Thank you.